guys, I'm ChezPride, and it is officially the official season of spookiness for 2025, meaning it is time to wake Green Day up because September has ended and is October the best month of the year. Now, I personally treat all year like it's spooky season when it comes to how I dress and the decor of where I surround myself with. But I'm always glad to show a little extra celebration towards spooky season when everyone catches up and says that it is officially spooky season. And yes, I am aware it is no longer the very first day of October. I did at least try to get this video up the very first day of October. Now, it was my fault for waiting for the first day of spooky season to record video. I should have stockpiled it earlier, but I will say, even though I got distracted before I recorded the video by working on a different save file, I did get almost halfway through the video. When I got to like the end of the second cat, I ended up having a full-on narcolepsy attack, and I was like, oh, I'll just go ahead and save the family what I have to the gallery, take a nap. I have time, and I'll wake up and I'll get the video uploaded like right before midnight. And from what I visually remember, I typed in a title for the family in the gallery and clicked save to my gallery, not like upload to the gallery, but save to my gallery. And then I went ahead, I took a nap, I got woken up, I fed my dogs, took them out. And when I sat down at my computer and opened my game and opened my gallery, the family was absolutely nowhere to be found. Like, the couple was there from where I saved the base before I did the couple of cats I did. But where I saved the family with the cats was just not there. Even though I visually remember typing in the name for the family on the gallery and remember seeing the picture of each one of these Sims holding the cats I created. At this point, the way I saw it, I had two options. I could really push it and try to just ignore the fact that I was tired and frustrated and just push through and try to re-record the video as nothing happened, remake the cats I made, and finish out the family, rough edit the hell out of the video, and put a somewhat decent video up and probably had it up like right before midnight and then crash out. Or I could go ahead and take the time to go to bed early and try to get some rest and re-record the video when I wake up and am less frustrated, and probably put out a better quality video, even though it wouldn't be coming out the very technical first day of October. And I figured you guys would have preferred a better quality video versus a video that I just rushed through and was trying to push myself to make. So I do apologize this is not out on the very first day of October, but I'm getting it up as soon as I can. And I still don't understand what happened because I literally remember typing in the name for the family and seeing the image for the family on the gallery. But to bring the official spooky season in, even if it is a day or so late, I thought we could start off the month by doing something Halloween related and make some spooky Halloween themed cats. Basically, I want to make a almost full household of cats, but they all have to have a spooky and or Halloween theme in their look and name, because cats are the best, and I thought it was a very fitting way of bringing in the spooky season. So I figured if we were going to have a family of spooky Halloween themed cats, we needed some fitting parents to fit the role. So I went ahead and brought back a couple of just random Sims I made for a random create a Sim type challenge video during spooky season of last year. And honestly, I don't expect any of you guys to remember these Sims, but I feel like they are quite fitting. So I've went ahead and brought back these Sims and made them cat lovers, and we are going to use them as the parents of these cats. But since most of you probably don't remember these Sims, let me do a quick reintroduction. So basically the video that these Sims are the result of was, like I said, a very random create a Sim video last spooky season where I literally gave myself the challenge to create a Sims couple that were jack-o'-lantern themed. Like, everything about these Sims have to do with the fact that they are jack-o'-lanterns, and they are both very different types of jack-o'-lanterns. I know, very random, but I thought it was fitting for the spooky season, and being the jack-o'-lantern fanatic that I am, I really enjoyed making these Sims and how they turned out. Like, they're not the typical Sims I would make, but I think they're really fun. So let me go ahead and kind of explain the concept of the two different types of jack-o'-lanterns I picked out here. Because, you know, if you really break it down and you have enough talent, there is an endless possibility when it comes to jack-o'-lanterns. Like, not every single jack-o'-lantern is going to fit into these two categories, but I feel like most of the jack-o'-lanterns that you could possibly think of would fit somehow under these two different types of jack-o'-lanterns. So this first Sim here is the female of my jack-o'-lantern couple, and her name is Jackie Lantern. Yes, literally even her name has to do with the fact that she's a jack-o'-lantern, but this is the type of jack-o'-lantern that knows that she is better than all the other jack-o'-lanterns. This is the jack-o'-lantern created by the perfectionist artiste. Like, this person may not even have any other artistic skills for all you know, but as soon as pre-spooky season hits, so basically whenever they start selling the pumpkins, they start stocking up on them, they're buying them over time, preserving them. They are even possibly doing more than one design at once. They take days, if not weeks, to work on these designs. And when they're done, people look at these jack-o'-lanterns and like, how? Like, how is there that much detail? And like, even possibly these could be like 3D jack-o'-lanterns that take multiple pumpkins to build a whole jack-o'-lantern. It is a whole thing. Like, artistic jack-o'-lantern making is a whole thing, and that is what this Sim is based around of. Is a little bit self-absorbed because she knows she's better than everyone else. She has all the curves in the right spots, all the cutouts in the right places, all the blackouts in the perfect blackout range. For this video, she is also a cat lover. So this is Jackie Lantern, and her aspiration in life is to be a painter extraordinaire, or in my mind, the perfect jack-o'-lantern art piece. And she is creative, she's a bit self-absorbed, and like I said, for this video, she is a cat lover. So she is very much not the type of Sim I would normally make, but I think she turned out really cute. So I tried to give her orange toned skin with orange toned hair and orange clothes. And I picked these clothes out in particular because, one, they were orange and black. Perfect Halloween colors, jack-o'-lantern colors. But also, it had cutouts. And, like, it's a set meant to go together. It's a top and a bottom that are meant to go together. Obviously, the materials are actually matching. It has, like, a bunch of cutouts, including, like, cutouts up and down the leg. So I thought that was, like, perfect for the jack-o'-lantern theme. I tried to give her, like, really voluptuous curves and tried to kind of represent the shape of a pumpkin. I know she's not like the curviest girl, but I feel like she represents pretty well the shape of a pumpkin, and with it having the random cutouts, I thought it was very artsy. And she does have a little green like beret French type hat, because one, fancy, but two, also just like the stem of the pumpkin. And I gave her shoes to match, because this pumpkin in jack-o'-lantern is so perfect that it still has the green on the bottom. And then, of course, I tried to give her a hair that kind of went with her shoulders to bring out that pumpkin shape. And then as far as her makeup, I tried to represent kind of a classic jack-o'-lantern. So we have almost triangle shaped eyes that are as blacked out as I could get them. Obviously there's a little bit of white, but I did my best. And then I took the sunscreen face makeup and did the opaquity all the way down and turned it from white to black and tried to pretend that was like the triangle nose. And then I gave her black lips, but if you look at her teeth, I actually gave her the mermaid teeth. So she has those perfect triangle teeth that you think of when you think of a classic jack-o'-lantern. So she's like a classic jack-o'-lantern, but like a perfectionist classic jack-o'-lantern. So this is my sim, Jackie Lantern. And then her partner is the opposite. So this is Jackie's husband, Jack-o'-lantern. I know, I got so creative with the name. That's kind of going to be the theme with all the names for this family, is they're going to be, quote, so creative. But anyways, this is Jack-o'-lantern, and he is the opposite of Jackie. Like when they say opposites attract, that very much takes to this couple. So the person who created this type of jack-o'-lantern just wants to have fun. They don't care what the actual results look like. If they do an accidental cut and make an eye slightly bigger than the other without doing it on purpose, they could care less. Like they could put round eyes in the jack-o'-lantern as long as they're having fun. And when you look at this jack-o'-lantern, you're like, did a kid do that, or did like some adult just want to have fun and possibly have a couple of drinks before they did their pumpkin? You know, that is the type of jack-o'-lantern that this sim represents. He is the fun, goofy, all-loving one. So Jack-o'-lantern just wants to be a friend of the world. He is a goofball. He is cringe. And like I said for this video, he is a cat lover. And I tried to do kind of that representation where it was like green on top and orange on everything else. But pretty much because I went with an orange outfit, orange shoes, orange gloves, orange makeup, orange necklace, I tried to actually black out his skin because I wanted the eye sockets in the makeup to be blacked out. So I figured if I gave him blacked out skin, that would go well with the black socket, and it would really bring out the orange in the face. And yes, I am aware this is technically skeleton face makeup, but it's the skeleton face makeup from the Halloween stuff pack. So I feel like it's goofy enough and orange enough and in the right shape to where it could pass as goofy jack-o'-lantern. Like, I know the eyes are more round than triangle, but they're kind of triangle. And the mouth makeup I thought was perfect. So that's why he's not orange, he's blacked out, but everything on him is orange. I just wanted the face to really pop. I also gave him little knife earrings because, you know, a person that carves this type of pumpkin isn't going to have pumpkin carving set. They would just use a knife. So that's why I gave him knife earrings. And then, of course, the green bun on top to just kind of represent thrown up on top and kind of a funky looking stem. And then, like I said, this is a goofball. He's cringe, but I feel like he would be kind of lazy. So I just gave him like a sweatsuit, just a matching sweatsuit with some orange shoes that kind of went with the color orange of the sweatsuit. And I gave him gloves that have like black cutouts, like maybe there's like an accidental slip, a random cutout here and there, and that's kind of what the gloves are supposed to represent. And even down to his teeth, he has the like little jagged teeth, so it kind of looks like, oh, they attempted at the mouth, but it's not perfect. Maybe it's a goofy looking mouth. That is the vibe of the cat dad here for this jack-o'-lantern couple, though. He is the goofy, like, caregiving, could just slightly be cringy, and you can't tell if a kid or a goofy adult made him. And then his wife, Jackie Lantern, is the perfectionist pumpkin that knows that she's better than everyone. But I think they'll make good cat parents. So speaking of cats, let's go ahead and start actually getting into the making of the cats, because I took way too long to introduce these Sims. So I feel like with these Sims being jack-o'-lantern theme, it's only appropriate that the first cat we make is also jack-o'-lantern themed. So I feel like here the concept I'm about to go with probably can be guessed without being said, but pretty much I feel like if we're going to have a third member of the family that is a jack-o'-lantern, they need to be their own category of jack-o'-lantern. So like I said, most jack-o'-lanterns fit under the two categories I have, but I feel like there's a third overlapping category that goes without being said. Now, like I said, it's overlapping, so it could go in the perfectionist and it could go in the goofy, but I feel like scary jack-o'-lanterns are kind of their own category, and I feel like if any of them are going to be a scary jack-o'-lantern, it would be the cat. My problem with making the scary jack-o'-lantern cat in the first video is I find all the cats so cute. Even like the hairless cats in this game, I think are 100% adorable. Making them scary looking is kind of a challenge for me, but that's maybe just the cat obsession person in me. But without further ado, let me kind of just repeat what I did last time, but maybe even slightly better. So I think the easiest way to do this is to literally just start randomizing cats. I mean, I guess this kind of works. We're going to have to do quite a bit of adjusting, but it is a good starting point. So I basically want to make the cat as big as possible and as floofy as possible. And I think the fur I decided to go with was this one because it really brings out the roundness in the face. And speaking of roundness of the face, we need to make the head pretty much as round as possible, and then take the ears, and I think I went with these ears, and I like expanded them to the side and kind of tried to get like a round face. I just want to like bring the ears as close to the face as possible. What I'm going to end up doing at the end is not going to matter too much because I'm going to put a hoodie, but when the cat has the hoodie off, you want that head to be as round as possible. So I think that's really where we're going to get it there. And then for the fur style, like the colors and patterns, there was one specific one I decided to go with. And there's a lot of patterns here, but I really wanted to have a pattern of fur where it looks like the center of the cat is like bright orange and it ombres out into like a dark color. So kind of like this concept, but I think I decided to go with, it was this one, because this one really emphasized the ombre and it had more colors to work with. So I know it doesn't look like a pumpkin now, and I know that most jack-o'-lanterns don't ombre, but we're trying to make a scary jack-o'-lantern, so I wanted to add some like black accents. I felt like having black at the tips was kind of like scary, like almost like it had like spikiness with like rotten ends or something. I know that's a weird concept, but I like it. But let's go ahead and I'm going to adjust the colors here, but then we'll go into paint mode and really add what I need. So obviously the tips are black and we want to make the core orange. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a color wheel in this part, so I'm just going to have to go with the colors we have. I think I decided to go with this orange for the core last time. We'll go with that. Like I said, we're going to have to really bring out the color in paint mode and through other aspects. I can actually go ahead and do the eyes The eyes are pretty much correct already, but I want to make the pupils as big as possible, the eyes as big as possible. I don't mind them being slightly far apart. That actually kind of helps me have room for the triangles. For the nose, we want to have an all black nose because we want to bring out the black triangle. Honestly, I feel like this nose is the most triangle-y, and then I really want to go into detail mode and make it pointy. I know that sounds weird because jack-o'-lanterns are normally flat, but we're trying to bring out the triangle-ness of the nose, and if it has completely flat vibes, then I feel like it won't work as well. Also, we can bring the bridge up, and that helps bring out some of the triangle-ness. And then I really want tinier mouth and flatter mouth, so it's slightly easier to draw on. And those are the most orange eyes we have. And since we're trying to go all jack-o'-lantern theme, I feel like the orange eyes are the best if we can't make them completely black. But let's go with this. We can go ahead and go into paint mode and really bring out the jack-o'-lantern vibes here. Well, actually, no. First, let's make the whiskers. I feel like black whiskers would help. I feel like the gray is throwing me off. So we could either do all black or we could do black and gray ombre. We could do black and white. There is also green, as if it's the top of the jack-o'-lantern. Maybe we do green whiskers for the top of the jack-o'-lantern little stub handle thing. I feel like that could be good. Even though we are going for scary, so I feel like black is more appropriate. I feel weird not having any kind of green on there. We'll try it. Maybe if we're going to do this, we'll do the short whiskers. But now, let's go into paint mode. And the very first thing I want to do is add the triangles, because the triangles is going to be the key to this. So let's go ahead and we are going to use the triangle. We're going to do completely all black, because I wanted it to line up right around the eyes without cutting into the eyes. I think these eyes must be bigger than last time, because I remember not having this big of a size. These work, because I want to kind of line them up with the corner that is kind of already in the eye. Oh man, this is so hard when the cat won't stop moving. This is the trouble I had last time. So I want to line it up ever so slightly off, just so it looks like the corners really emphasize, and there. So that's our triangle eyes. And I almost wouldn't even hate bringing them out and up just a little bit. Maybe we'll do a brush, since we can do the same brush on each side. I wish they would make the cat stop breathing. If you sit, do you stop breathing? It doesn't help that much. Alright, well, see, when it breathes, I do shit like that. Okay, I just want to make it ever so slightly bigger. Bring out, oh my god, no, I am horrible at this. I can always add on. Taking away is more of the problem. I say as I put stuff I have to take away. Alright, I think I can clean it up with the eraser tool and it will help. And also this does help outline the black of the triangle and kind of bring it out next to this eye. I almost like the fact that it kind of looks like a mask, since we're going for scary vibes, you know? I do like that. It's more scary looking than the last cat, and the problem I was having with the last cat, it was too cute and it wasn't scary enough. Alright, but let's go back to triangles, and we're actually going to rotate it and shrink it. I think I should go with a 5. Yeah, we want to fit it right around the nose. Alright, so we have the triangle nose. We could even do it one more time, make it super black. And then we have to shrink it all the way down. Was it a 3 or a 2? I think I decided to go with the 3. Because I want the 2 bigger fangs. Because we're going to do a classic triangle up and down mouth. But I want the 2 fangs to almost look like vampire fangs. So I want them slightly bigger than the rest. Okay, that's good enough. Take the size down to a 2 to do the rest of the top. Alright, but we want to line it up to where it looks kind of like a mouth, down into the corners, but not too dramatically. And then I think I decided less teeth and lines were better last time. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this back, change this to 1, have the smallest triangle we can. I feel like if I can line it up where there's space on both sides of the triangle, but it kind of fits into the triangle like that, maybe possibly bring it down a little bit, just like expand it. Do I want to do the triangles on the side? I feel like we decided lines were better last time. I should stick to that. And maybe the center triangle should be a 2. Do I want 1 triangle? I think I decided 1 triangle that was darker last time worked better. Alright, I swear I think it'll look better once we add the regular lines. So you can fill in this and then bring it down a little bit in size to fill in the corners. Just really getting down in there with the tiny brushes, because the more I can do with the slightly bigger, the faster the process is. And then maybe we can expand these fangs a little bit to be bigger. I don't know if this will work with how I did the mouth this time, but I did like little lines off the mouth. I know that looks weird, but hold on. I think I added little marks on the side. This almost, and then just even out these ends. I think that's why I ended up going with last time. And then adding a little bit of black on the tips of the ears, I think always helps just in almost any animal, honestly. I don't know why I love a tipped ear on an animal. I guess because like my Siamese that I grew up with for like the first 17 years of my life. Well, actually, no. I got them when I was 4 and had them 17 years. So the first 21 years of my life had tipped ears, so I'm always have been a fan. And also, I think I brought out the naturalness on this triangle and these markings at the top. So I kind of went like this. Just use this to fill in most of it, and then shrink it, and then bring it back down to this line into the triangle. That's more scary-ish. Again, I find all the cats here cute, so I kind of have a hard time making them scary. And then what I regretted not doing last time was adding like little bloodlines. I know, it's weird, but we're trying to go for scary, so I kind of like the idea of like between the black lines there being red blood lines. We can maybe do a little bit of blood under the eyes. I feel like that adds a little bit of scariness, right? Right? I don't know. And then what we're going to do after I paint the tip of the paws black, because I did do that last time. I think I actually did it on the paws and the tail. So if we can just do like little black mittens here, basically stand up again. Oh no, I did the knees on accident. Alright, but do like little black socks basically, and I didn't give it a tail, but I'll make its little nub black. And also I think I went through and I actually added like triangles around the place. So I wouldn't mind actually making this triangle filled in by doing some of this, and then the lines can go down from that triangle. I think I also, if I remember correctly, added a triangle on the tail area, more on the chest, which I just realized those lines go down to the neck, which I'm not the biggest fan of. And honestly, I actually kind of like the idea of like lighter triangles in the back. Okay, but if we're gonna have this here, I at least want the lines to connect. Oh no, I like that. It almost gives like Egyptian vibes, which I'm not mad about. But this is our quote-unquote scary jack-o'-lantern. And then what I did to finish it off last time, which is going to take away from a lot of the paint. But again, they're not always going to wear the outfit, but they have orange hoodie. And it kind of like brings the roundness of like a jack-o'-lantern in. I don't know. I just thought it was fitting. But this is our scary jack-o'-lantern sim. And like I said, we're going to get quote-unquote real creative with the names here. And this is going to be Scary Jack Cat. Scary Jack Cat. And like I said, I think, I made it a male. And then as far as personality, I feel like it should be very territorial because, you want to scare people off. Maybe you're a prowler so you can sneak up on people. Maybe mischievous. If we're trying to be scary, we gotta be a little mischievous. So this is Scary Jack Cat. He is a territorial, a prowler, and mischievous. But if we're gonna have a cat named Jack and it be Halloween theme, I have to feel like we have to have a Jack Skellington themed cat. So let's go ahead and add another cat. We want to make this one a male as well. And honestly, we want to go for exact opposite vibes here. Like, we want to basically go hairless. There we go. This will work. And add the skeleton texture because there is a skeleton cat texture. I feel like it has to be black with white bone. And honestly, this one I think is what we went with last time because this is the last cat I ended on. And then I think I made like a grayish instead of cream. The eyes have to be as big as possible. We're going again with big blacked out eyes. We're going to white them out. This is quote white out. It's very pale yellow eyes, but I'm going to make them as white as I can and then make the pupils as big as I can. And that's really all I can do as far as blacking out their eyes until I go into paint mode, and still the white's going to show. It's just nothing I can do about it. I battled with it last time, but I can give them a black nose to kind of bring out the skeleton features, and then like I said, when I go into paint mode, I can make this more. We're going for skeleton vibes, so we want small ears, maybe not folded ears, but just tiny little ears. I feel like a Jack Skeleton cat would have ears. They would just be super tiny. We can really make them tiny. I was about to say, I know there's a way, but we could give them like little horns like this. I mean, I feel like that's fitting. The paint mode is going to be our saving grace here. So first, let's make it like super tiny. Like tiny little cat with a tiny little neck. I feel like the tinier the neck, the better. And then maybe even the bigger the head, the better. I think that's as big as it's going to let me get it. I feel like to kind of mimic the bow tie, we have to go with the black and white whiskers, but like super long. Like we want the super long black and white whiskers because I'm going to paint the bow on here. I want it to like kind of mimic the bow. Last time I struggled with this, so you guys are just going to have to bear with me, but I at least have a plan this time. So last time, I feel like the best way I decided to do this, we're going to use the bow pattern. Now obviously we'll have to expand and erase some of this, but I want this to be the base. So if we I think this is what we decided to go with, like 18. And then we bring back the center. And then I decided to go with the little triangles, little tiny triangles, ears of the bat. And then do black triangles at the bottom. So it kind of represents well, it could be the body of the bat, but it's supposed to be a bat head. So maybe if I add little dots, that'll help distinguish that it's a bat face. Because I think Jack Skeleton's bat bow does have small eyes, so we could do like the eyes here, erase some of the top off and bottom off of it. So if I try to mimic the lines on the bow I have, so it goes kind of up and down. Okay, not like that maybe, right? Like real skinny. Do this one like not like that. I did much better last time. I did much better last time on this. Okay, hold on. I think the eraser tool is really going to be my friend here. Like, I think this is going to be the key to everything. Maybe bring it into the center a little bit. That's better. That's where it was. Some of the middle needed to be erased out a little bit. I feel like the last time I did a Jack Skeleton bow, on the cat. Like in the first attempt of this, it was slightly better, but I feel like that's not bad. That's definitely not bad. And then if we take this, I want to black out the eyes a little bit more so we can really emphasize the eye blackout. And then, of course, we have to do an actual skeleton lines. I feel like that works. Some white nostrils there to kind of add the holes in Jack's nose. I think that's pretty good. I think the last thing I added last time was white paws, but it kind of represent his like white skeleton hands. So if we stand you up and do white little skeleton hand paws here, I feel like that's a decent Jack Skeleton cat. And then the last thing I did last time was add a little cape. And also, when I did this, I realized that there is a black and white vampire cape. There's not just the superhero dragon ninja version, which if you watch my video, second part of the event, you understand my dilemma here. I was like, I should have just went and created some and looked. I didn't think there was going to be one without the yellow dragon, but that cat has its iconic moment for the yellow dragons. I can't take it away now. There is a white and black cape that's black with white tips, and I feel like with the bow, that looks kind of like Jack Skeleton vibes. Like, I know he's more in a coat than a cape, but I feel like this works. The coat is kind of a cape, and it has stripes. It's not solid black, but this will have to do. So this is going to be Jack Skellycat. And I think Jack Skellycat would be aloof. He would be clever, but he would be curious. That is very Jack Skeleton vibes. And then, of course, if we're gonna have a Jack Skeleton, we have to have a Sally. So I feel like out of all the cats that I'm planning on doing, this one should be the most challenging, but we at least have a fur pattern that's already kind of close to her dress. Yep, it's this one. Now, obviously, we're going to have to do a recolor. Like, these aren't the exact colors, but they're pretty freaking close. Where the pink is, we're going to want a teal color. We're going to have to come do a slightly better teal color, probably. Like, the face looks good, but the body's a little dark. And then where this teal color is, I think we want to change this to pink. Want to do the crosses yellow, because that's kind of like Sally colors. Yeah, she had black stitching. It makes these parts less yellow. So I guess I will change this back to yellow. I feel like this is the closest we're going to get. It's not exactly Sally colors, but I think it's going to be as close as I can get for sure. And I did want to make some of the color more teal, because most of her skin is teal, but it's like a lighter teal. So like, I like this tone. I just wish it was ever get the right color here. Yeah, that's kind of more the right color. All right, so I'm gonna have to go into a really small brush size here, outline the X's. Oh, this is going to be a pain. I will come back and fill it in better. I just want to get the outline of the X's right now. Well, maybe this is going to be more of a painful process than I thought. All right. Ooh. Do I need to go with even smaller of a brush? Like, I feel like it shouldn't have to be smaller than this. We'll do around the ears here. Again, it would be great if you would stop breathing all the time. Oh, see, it's the opposite on both sides. So if I do the ears, it's gonna look weird. Okay, so maybe I have to cut off doing the same pattern right here. Everything else on here is different up top. So if we fill all this in, hold on, come fill this in. That wasn't as painful as a process as I thought it was gonna be. It's just cleaning up right in here. It's gonna be kind of painful. And then these teal spots, it's under the teal category. It's just not as teal as it could be. This is the better color. Yeah, this kind of represents the teal on her dress. It's just bothering me that this is more blue than it is teal, it's not going to look perfect. But if you can't see it on a running horse, then it's fine. That you can see on a running horse, though. Dang it. If you could just stop breathing long enough. I guess the tail could also be teal, because the tail already has polka dots on it. So I can come back and make the polka dots black, but kind of go over that pink with the black. Add this section of her dress on here. It's not perfect, but it gets the point across. This stripe here, more of a yellow stripe to go with the yellow stitching. Like, it's not going to be perfect, but I want there to be references. I want there to be strong references. You can be sitting on a riding horse. Because the saying was, if it can't be sitting on a riding horse, we can get those stripes there to kind of represent that. And then honestly, some of the pink on the dress has black stripes, but just like a section of it. Get rid of some of the stitching here and go up with this. And then we can make this like the black striped part. Alright, that I feel like references Sally pretty well. There is darker blue around her eyes. If we go with like an even slightly darker teal. Oh, I need to do the reverse side back on for this. Give her like her little eyeshadow. I feel like that's helpful. And then the red is what we're missing. So before we do the red, I do want to actually fix the ears. I think I'm going to do similar to the first cat and do ears close to the head. No, I want to bring them to the... She has like very close to the head long red hair. If we go here and we go into red, and honestly first and foremost, I'm actually going to give her a red lipstick. That's maybe even too much because she just has like tiny little red lips. We give her those red lips and then take the brush, make it ever so slightly bigger, and then try to mimic her hairline, which I feel like is going to be slightly difficult here, but we're going to do it. I feel like that's decently close to Sally's hairline. This is going to cover up some of the stitches, but I'm fine with it. Maybe if we make it slightly smaller from here and go down, maybe a little bit thicker. I don't want there to look like there's bangs because her hair is pretty much like straight parted down the middle. I also want it to be correct and accurate. Oh, when did that happen? Wait, no. When did the drawing on the back happen? Way too early, apparently. Maybe we'll have to fill in the head like this first. All right. So let's just fill in the head like that. Okay, we're gonna have to make the brush smaller for the rest of this. This, like that. So let's go down to here. That. I feel like that's pretty good for Sally. Here, I'm way too much of a perfectionist for this, but hey, I think this looks pretty decent. And then she has some like stitching on her neck. It goes kind of more like this, like it goes up here. You know, I think that's as closest we're gonna get to Sally. Like, if I go any further into this, it's just not gonna work. Except I do want to fix the eyes. The eyes on Sally are white with like pinpoint pupils. The pupils as tiny as possible. I can't do little round dots, but I can do little slits. That's probably the best we're going to get on Sally. We got a Jack skeleton themed cat. We got a Sally themed cat. They're not perfect, but they're pretty freaking close. So this is going to be Sally cat. And let's see. I feel like she is affectionate, a little too curious, and honestly, she's friendly. So that is our scary Jack cat, our Jack Skelly cat, and our Sally cat. And the next cat we're going to do is going to be way more simple. I'm literally just going to do a black cat. Because what would a Halloween spooky house of cats be without just having a straight up black cat? I feel like that is the most Halloween spooky cat you can get. It's just a straight up black cat. So we are going to just go here and we're just going to go straight up to breeds. And we're going to look at all the black cats. Now, there is the straight up black cat. Like, by default breeds, this is what they classify as a black cat. I feel like the Bombay cat is almost more of a true black cat, but there are other breeds to look at. We have this one, but that's more like of a brown. There's this one, and that does look Halloween-y, but I don't know if I call that a true black cat. We have the tuxedo cat that we can get in multiple types of black colors. But I think true black cat, in my mind, is like the Bombay cat. But we could like make it a little bit rounder of a cat and then make it slightly fluffier. Because it doesn't have to have like super short hair, but I don't want it to have like super long hair. Maybe this. We could do this. We could bring in the sides of the face a little bit and expand the jawline. I feel like that helps. And even the eyes, I really don't mind too much because like I feel like most true black cats have like super yellow eyes. So I feel like that's pretty much the perfect color. We can go with a different type of eye. So maybe we could just go with like your classic cat eye. We already have a black nose, which is what I'm wanting. I'm thinking we add black whiskers. And honestly, I'll probably even go into paint mode and paint the very inside of the ears black as much as I can. We want this to be pretty much all black. Oh, I can literally paint it to be a darker shade of black. I guess I could just fill in the color to be completely black. That works. That's even blacker than I was planning. Alright, so we have a straight up black cat. But I feel like it would be lazy of me not to do anything. So I feel like it needs a costume. What about the dragon? Wait a minute. I was going to name it Blackie the Catty in very slight reference of the name Batty. But we could do Black Batty the Catty and have him literally in a dragon suit, referencing Batty, because it's Batty. I know it's a black cat, but if we're gonna name it Blackie, we might as well name it Batty and have it in a dragon outfit and kind of represent Ferngully Batty. I don't know. I was also about to make a literal bat cat, so this may be taking a step too far. I mean, technically not a bat, but it looks like Batty. And it's a black cat, so I think we're going to go with Black Batty the Catty is what we're going to name this cat after putting it in this costume. So Black Batty the Catty. Black Batty the Catty, I like that. And if it's going to be based off the personality of Batty, it has to have some silly traits. So we can be very talkative, very skittish. I don't think Batty's a free spirit, but maybe he's playful. So this is Black Batty the Catty, talkative, skittish, and playful. But like I said, literally the next cat I was going to make was actually going to be a bat cat. Now, I'm not thinking like goofy Batty like that. I'm thinking like vampire bat cat vibes. So we're going to go here. I have no idea what I want the base of this to be. Not that. I'm just going to perhaps randomize how I get something that kind of works. Let's see. What kind of pattern do we want for a vampire bat cat? I mean, I know we just did a black cat, but I feel like we almost have to do some form of black cat for this. I'm thinking I need to change the head to see the full vision here. Okay, so I'm thinking I want a very bat-shaped face. And I mean like to the point like the nose is as long and as tiny as it can be. The ears are as big and as pointed as they could be. Let's see. I feel like bat eyes are quite tiny. And I don't really know what the color of a bat's eyes would be. Maybe like this gray blue would be a vibe. And then what if we did like the super long whiskers that were like the ombre? I feel like that's bat vibes. And maybe I'm wanting green eyes. I'm thinking the green looked better. That green, that's a more subtle green. But I'm thinking green because green goes with red better. And I'm going to do quite a few red accents on this cat. Because like I said, we're going for like vampire bat cat vibes. I wouldn't even hate doing like an almost no fur situation. I don't know if no fur fully is the right move, but almost no fur I feel like is the right move. I don't mind them being skinny, but I think I'm going to have them be muscular. And we're going to go into paint mode. And they literally have bat wings as a stencil. So I'm thinking if we get the right bat wing, I have to remember which size side we want. So like that, maybe a little bit bigger. I'm thinking we literally do like blood, dark red wings. We could do like a vampire cat vibe. I kind of like that. So like that. So it has like dimension. We're going for like the vampire vibes. So I wouldn't hate like having little blood dripping from its mouth. I know we did that with the pumpkin cat, but I feel like this is a different vibe. And oh my god, would this cat just stay still? Can any of these poses make you stay still? This one makes you stay still, and it gives kind of the right spot. Alright. But I kind of want to just like, nope. That is too much. Control Z. Alright, but I just want a little bit of blood coming from your mouth. Like you just took a bite of a nice juicy rat. And perhaps we can use the ease to add some like blood on the paws. I don't know why I like the idea of that so much, but just like bloody paws. Why does that sound so fun to me? All right, let's do this to really get to your paws. I didn't even think about the underside of the paws being a different color. Alright. I know they don't have glasses. Also, I need to look at the face to see. Oh my god, the blood isn't even showing through whatsoever. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, hold on, go back to this. I can't really erase what I have now, but let's see if that looks better. And I just had a couple of different blood drops. There we go. But I was gonna say, I know they don't have technical glasses for cats, which is sad. I feel like we could mimic some glasses. If we do like the dark circles around the eyes, it kind of looks like Ozzy Osbourne glasses. And if we're going for a bat reference, I feel like we have to reference Ozzy with his recent decease, I will call it. So we can add those and kind of a reference to Ozzy. Maybe we can, I want two tips like this. I know that's kind of like almost Pokemon vibes, but I feel like it's the right vibes. Maybe we can also do this on the tail. So we can make the tip of the tail like just blood tipped. We have to give him a collar. I'm almost thinking like a red studded collar. Vampire goth vibes. Ooh, speaking of that, what if we did like a little tuxedo hat? I know that covers the ears, but they won't always have on the hat. But doesn't the hat kind of give the right vibe? I feel like this is the right vibe. Literally, first name Bat and second name Cat. Like, I am Batcat. Oh my god. I'm making so many references here. How many references can I make? It is like a blood vampire reference. It's an Aussie reference. It looks like it would close the goddamn door. I literally said, I am Batcat. Just so many freaking references on this cat. But I feel like if we're going to have a black cat, it has to be interesting and have personality. And speaking of personality, I feel like if we're going to make like a vampire bat themed cat, I feel like it has to be aloof, but it has to be a prowler because it has to be able to sneak up on things to drink its blood. If you're going to be clever enough to drink from animals, you have to be pretty clever. So I'll give it the clever trait. So it's aloof, a prower, and clever. All right, so this is Batcat. And then the next and final cat I want to make is going to be quite the opposite here. Like, everything here is kind of spooky-ish, but this is going to be literally sweet. Like, we'll give you a sweet tooth because I want to make a color corn cat. Also, did I make this a male or a female? It's a female. I think I want it to be a male. But like I said, I literally want to make a cat that is looking like the candy corn. And honestly, this is not that bad of a start. The texture needs to be smooth on the fur. If I could do a fluffy but kind of smooth fur like this maybe. I don't hate the head shape. I do want to adjust it a little bit. So I feel like the ears need to be super short to the head and kind of almost down to the side as far as possible. And then this be pointed up as much as possible. Sides of the head kind of fit more to the body, and the body, I kind of want to give that like triangle effect. I almost want to bring in the shoulders and make the bottom wider. And honestly, if we're gonna have a candy color corn cat, I feel like it doesn't need to have a tail. Alright, but bear with me here. So what if for like colors and patterns there's like a straight up white cat in here somewhere. Alright, so we take this, but we make it an all orange cat. Let's go to the eyes real quick. Go ahead and make them orange as well. I'm thinking the yellow eyes, honestly. I was going to do orange, but maybe because it's goofy of a concept and it's like a sweet treat cat, it could have like the big goofy eyes. You know what we could do is we could actually do a yellow eye and an orange eye. That kind of works because then it goes in like candy color corn colors. Ooh, and then we have to change the nose color. I wish we could do a white nose. And we could go brown. Some candy color corn is chocolate. Okay, we'll do that. And then literally what I want to do is we're just going to go into paint mode. And like I said, we're literally going to just make it candy color corn colored. So that means the very top has to be straight up white. Like as white as we can get this swatch. I want to make the entire head just straight up white. Like we can make this brush like pretty much fully large and just boop, 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 paint the head white. I even don't mind it coming down a little past the neck. Like I feel like that's pretty realistic. Is there any spots I'm missing? I feel like I got most of the spots. Maybe touch up here a little bit. Maybe not touch up here a little bit. That made it whiter. No, I don't want to widen it. I just want to emphasize the white. On the opposite end, we have to go full on yellow. So like this whole half of the cat right here is just going to be yellow. Oh my goodness. This looks so goofy, but I love it. I kind of love it. Okay, and then when she sits, they're literally a candy corn. Oh my god, this is fantastic. I want to make the hips wider. I don't know if I can make the hips wider. Can I make the shoulders skinnier and then make the hips wider? Not really. Every time I go to widen the hips, it widens the shoulders. But I feel like that is decently a candy corn colored cat. I am struggling to say that. Maybe we can have it stand up and we can fix the patchiness under here. Now it's fully yellow right there. Okay. The white under the chin is slightly bothering me. Maybe we can go all white under here. There we go. All right. And I feel like I avoided it this whole time because I always give my cats bow ties. But like if you're going to give any of these cats a bow tie, I feel like it has to be the candy corn colored cat. Hey, I said it right. Candy corn colored cat. And they don't have an orange one, I don't think. I think I just saw the yellow in the options. Let's see. There is also a white one, but I feel like it has to stand out. So let's do the yellow. I feel like that's pretty good for a candy corn colored cat. Now we're literally going to name this catty corn. I know I came up with the cheesiest names for all these cats, but catty corn, like, is too perfect. Like candy corn, catty corn. Alright, but I know it has a bow tie, but I think I'm going to make it a female. It's already a female, so we'll keep it a female. It'll just be like non-androgynous cat. and he has candy corn. It could be any gender. But anyways, so, I mean, this cat has to be affectionate. It's going to be, like, overly sweet and maybe a glutton because it's named after food. And honestly, I feel like it has to be a little maybe spoiled. Like, I feel like this cat is a little too sweet and has a little too much attention for what it's worth. And I feel like that stands true for candy corn too. Alright, but finally, that is the end of this video. This video actually took longer to record than expecting, so it's probably going up later in the day on the second day of spooky season. I wanted it to go the first day of spooky season, but it is finally done, and honestly, I'm kind of obsessed with all these cats. So let's just reintroduce the whole family real quick. So we have Jackie Lantern and Jack O-Lantern as the cat's parents. And then they have their scary Jack cat. So this is scary Jack cat. It's supposed to be like the scary Jack-o'-lantern cat. I think the detail on the face is a little extreme, but I'm kind of obsessed with it. And then speaking of Jack, we have Jack Skelly Cat. So this is supposed to be our Jack Skeleton cat. And then what is Jack without his Sally? So we have Sally Cat, which honestly I think is my favorite. This is so good. So good. And then we have Black Batty the Catty. That is our black cat that is kind of like a black batty. And then speaking of bats, we have Bat Cat. This is Bat Cat. It's supposed to be like the vampire bat cat. And then, of course, the last one, we have Catty Corn. Oh my god, I'm obsessed with Catty Corn. I think Catty Corn and Sally Cat are my two favorites. They're just so goofy and so adorable. I'm kind of obsessed. But I think I'm going to leave this video here. So sorry it took me a little bit later to get this video up, but there was a bunch of complications when it came to this video. But I hope you guys have a happy spooky season. I know technically Adventure Awaits comes out today, but just like I was on the last pack, I'm a little short on money. And technically, I almost have all the money for it. And I actually had saved the money. I didn't just like run out of money. One of my subscriptions that I use to make videos with that I pay for yearly resubscribed without giving me any warnings. So I had an overdraft fee, which I normally never bounce my account so much that I get overdraft fee. I think this is like the second time ever. So I have the money in cash, almost the right amount, but if I were to put it in to my bank account, it wouldn't be enough to bring it up to a positive amount, and it would be pointless. So I'm having to wait till this weekend till I can give the money to someone and let me use their credit card and then just owe them the last like $5 or $10. So it is going to be slightly a wait on the Venture Await videos. I'm not going to not have any videos at all. I'm at least going to put out one more video before I get my hands on Adventure Awaits. But I did want to explain why it's the day that the pack is coming out and I am not putting anything out on the pack is because I accidentally overdrafted my account. Well, the program overdrafted my account. If I had gotten a warning message, I probably could have stopped it and figured out a better way to get the program without overdrafting my account, but it literally sent me no email warning or anything. And I feel like if something is going to resub once a year, it should definitely give it a warning email. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But like I said, I will be coming out with Adventure Awaits. I still technically have some stuff I want to do on the fairy pack. Like, I'm not done reviewing the fairy pack. It's just the expansion packs are coming out so fast that I'm not getting caught up. Of course, I did have that fairy gig, so I wasn't able to make as many videos as I wanted to last month. that's besides the point. But anyways, this video was just to open up spooky season. Hopefully I'm able to fit at least a handful more of spooky themed videos before the end of spooky season. But I kind of do spooky themed videos all year long, so it's not that much different. But I'm trying to push it a little bit more for the official spooky season, especially since pre-spooky season, which is like September in my mind, I wasn't able to post much at all in general because I was doing the Renaissance Fairy gig. But anyway, guys, I'll stop rambling here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. Alright,